All right. So this is a HalfSaneFox, and that's Mellon.
Hello.
And we are reviewing our Halo series, specifically Halo's Reach, Combat Evolved 2, 3, and ODST. We did not play Halo 4, 5, or Infinite, and we have no intention to because they're apparently just horrible games.
Nothing like the good old Bungie ones.
343 really did not do that game any favors. Anyways, normally I attempt to do some objective review of, does the game function as intended? Does it run smoothly? Does the multiplayer run smoothly? Does the control scheme make sense? How is its story? What does it menu appearance and ease of use? But the fact of the matter is we played the Master Chief Collection, and since we're also playing multiple games, that doesn't really work the same. So we can't really be objective as much about it. We can state that the multiplayer has gone through several advancements since MCC released, where it used to lag way worse than it currently does, especially when playing campaigns and multiplayer, which is an issue we actually faced while playing it on Multiplayer Madness instead of on a series day. All things considered, Halo is... it's a remake. If it didn't function as intended or run smoothly with as many bug updates as it's gone through and improvements and other things, we'd have a different problem. And if I had to complain about menu appearance and ease of use, the menus are they're Halo. They look like Halo all the way through. There's just, if I had one complaint about the menus, it's that pulling your mouse too far to the right opens the party menu, which makes, and then the party menu expands to go slightly to the left, which makes clicking on the rightmost button when trying to scroll through maps and stages really annoying.
Yeah.
But for the most part, does it run smoothly? It should by this point. Does the control scheme make sense? It's kind of different compared to other games, but in terms of being self-consistent, at least it mostly is. It's not like some games where it's like, the perfect example of this, actually, Doom and Doom Eternal. Are you having fun? Why did you suddenly just launch yourself into the ceiling? Doom and Doom Eternal has this thing where Glory Kill in one game and Glory Kill in the next game are not the same button, which led to minor confusion. But in Halo, right bumper has always been... It's swap weapon, isn't it?
Right bumper?
Yeah.
Right bumper is reload.
Right. Which is so weird, but... that's only because every other game doesn't do that. So, in terms of having a unique control scheme, it's a bit annoying, but at least it's internally consistent within its unique control scheme, where it's always reload and at no point does it throw grenade. Plus, you can naturally rebind it like you can anything else. I'm not sure if you can rebind controller, but you can definitely rebind mouse and keyboard.
I think you can change it to a different control scheme that I think might change that, but I got so used to it, I'm like, why change it?
It is weird that 4 is flashlight.
Oh, you think that's weird? I think for 1, the flashlight is because you don't have because it was made for the Duke controller, which actually had a flashlight button. Like it's a separate button. But for 360, it's like right on the D-pad, which also moves you to the right.
Ugh. Yeah. In terms of story, it's pretty generic, but that's probably an effect of it being, pardon the wording, forerunner to most space fantasy.
Yeah.
Not like it's like, oh yeah, this is the first or anything, But it's probably, especially for my generation, one of the biggest introductions to space fantasy that everyone played.
Yeah.
I'm calling it space fantasy. Technically, it's sci-fi. I don't know. Is it really sci-fi? Anyways, digression aside. Halo CE doesn't have an amazingly, unique story. And in terms of level design, especially for the campaign, there's a lot of, well-used empty space. I think it's actually really good empty space, but a lot of the design choices were confusing. There was some levels that absolutely sucked, and that is basically a community objective opinion at this point. Subjective objective opinion. That, nobody likes the library. At all. That stage sucked.
Yeah. At least it's not as bad as Sniper Jackals and Legendary.
True. I'm having a hard time hearing you. My recording's picking you up fine, though, so who cares? Yeah, there was some issues with originally with peer-to-peer connections, and I'm not sure how much lag we would have experienced because I was the host, so I didn't experience any lag, which means it would be Mellon experiencing lag, but he already experiences lag regardless of what we're playing because he does not have great internet.
Terrible internet provider.
So, but yeah, I think if I remember, the plot of the original Halo is... Well, because let's review them in chronological order of release rather than chronological order of the games. Because Reach had one of the best stories. But it was also the 5th game released. So it's kind of unfair bias, right?
Yeah.
And it is CE story wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. It was, like I said, it's generic. And I'm not sure if that's a side effect of it being a forerunner or a side effect of it just being generic. Not that it was bad by any means. Generic does not equate to bad. It just, it's predictable. Here's what the Halo is. Here's the fact that the Halo's actually very bad. Here's, the entirety of Guilty Spark's character is that he doesn't listen, and he's very clearly broken.
Yeah.
So it is just kind of a thing of... It's an interesting...
I think that's the thing that happens to big, hits, that, multiple things in the series, like Star Wars.
That's what I'm saying. They might be the forerunner. It's the story is so predictable. It's just blah, 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 blah. Or, everybody... I'm just thinking of Wukong, when Wukong came out, and everybody's just this is just ripping off Dragon Ball. It's actually, no. It's based off the source material that Dragon Ball ripped off. But the fact of the matter is, everybody's so used to Dragon Ball, they weren't aware that it was stolen from a different source material. Journey to the West. I say stolen, it's based off of, let's use the correct words here. But it's just so there's a lot of things that's, this is very similar to Halo, and it's yes, because Halo, it's Halo looks generic now because so many things were based off of Halo. But Halo itself was probably based on something else. Like I said, it is not a very inventive story. It is a very clear, I knew where the plot was going the entire time. I knew where plot twists were going to be. I knew where cuts were going to be. I knew where, I knew the general progression of the story. It wasn't just because I played it, but it was also because I'd done writing before. I know the general flow of how you want to write a story, from the rising action to the denouement. And it all fell very cleanly in the lines, which isn't a bad thing. Let's not confuse generic with bad. It was generic, and it was still a relatively well-written story. It doesn't help that you had to read the book for Fall of Reach for CE to really work. because you didn't know why they were running away or how impressive it was for the Pillar of Autumn to take out 4 Covenant ships and keep fighting.
Yeah.
To get to the Halo in the first place. Or why the Halo was so weirdly built, or like how the Flood works. And you do figure that out from like the rest of the games, because it is a continuous story. Like, I'll be honest, I almost don't remember 2. And that is despite the fact that that is what I'm currently editing at the time of the review.
Yeah.
2's story. Oh, I don't remember anything about the story. I can't even remember. I think 2 is the one with the grave mind, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 and 3.
Yeah.
This is where you actually meet your Gravemind in person.
Yeah. 2 is the story between Arbiter and
Chief.
Chief. To which the Arbiter story is so interesting. From being from being branded a heretic for failing to kill a chief, to being like hunting a different covenant, to the reveal to him understanding what the Halos actually are, to him working with the chief, is all so well written. The Arbiter story is amazing. Chief's story, I do not remember a single thing about. We hunted and punched regret. That is the only thing I remember. That was actually a part of the story and not something stupid one of us did. And I'm not sure that's just because I forgot, or the fact that it was so boring my brain literally didn't archive the information.
Yeah. But it was fun.
I did have fun playing too, but I mostly enjoyed the parts of the Arbiter's story. Although I do think Arbiter's shield's cloaking system is worthless. The fact that if you break cloak at any point, you have to wait for the entire recharger to fill up. Like, there's so many problems with that stupid cloaking system. From getting hit to being very clearly visible in the newer version, but basically invisible in the older version. There was one level where I really struggled with discerning friend from foe because we were Covenant fighting Covenant. There was just... Arbiter's story was amazing. Chief's story was so lackluster I literally cannot remember it. Because as far as I remember, we just hunt a prophet. And otherwise, I think we go through some of the most boring stages of the game. That are basically just like walk from point A to point B and hold position. I think we also had to fight a lot more of the Flood as Chief. And that might be a part of it. Because Flood are the least interesting enemies in all of the Halo games.
I think technically you fight Flood as well as Arbiter.
You do fight Flood as the Arbiter, and that part was also boring.
Fair, yeah.
Like, I do not like the Flood. They are just not fun to fight. They aren't fun. Story-wise and mechanically to the story, they are an amazing component and super interesting. Gameplay-wise, they are just worse versions of zombies that aren't fun to hunt or fight, right?
Yeah, especially when they have shotguns and rocket launchers.
Oh, worse. We didn't even have shotguns the first time we fight them, right?
Yeah.
Gave me an item and now I'm duplicating it because you handed me the rock head. Anyways, like in the first game, the Flood was way worse because you're mostly only given like Covenant weapons and assault rifles. But in the second game, yeah, you get plenty of shotguns to hunt them down, even as the Arbiter. But like the installation levels are just, and like fighting the Sentinels, it's just some of the most boring parts of the game. The Flood and the Sentinels are just not fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta drive the tanks. Those are always cool, but They're not the most fun levels. There was also like the issue with not knowing the button to fire on when we were in the race. We didn't know the button to fire the miniguns on the Wraith because the Wraith had them and we literally did not know. I think it took like most of the level for me to discover that you could actually fire those guns, but it was like the same button as grenade or something. It was just really weird. It wasn't left click or right click. It was like, I don't remember if it was like G or some other button. It wasn't, it was at the very minimum, it wasn't the button to get in and out, and that's the only thing I remember. I don't have anything more to say on 2. And I'm not even sure if I can remember 3. 3 was interesting in the fact that it gave you Arbiter and the Chief as 2 different playable characters. But since mechanically they acted identical to my memory, there's not a whole lot to say in that regard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Arbiter loses his cloaking system in exchange for a flashlight he doesn't need.
Yeah. 3, the flashlight was useless. There's hardly any scenes that required it.
Right? And 3 are mostly fighting brutes, to which brutes are not fun enemies. I'm not sure what it is, but it's like grunts are fun enemies due to the randomness of the grunts. Jackals are annoying enemies, but at least they're somewhat like competitive enemies. Skirmishers suck, but that's their purpose. Elites have interesting like cries, they have interesting weapons. Brutes just suck.
Yeah.
They don't have iconic lines. They don't have iconic sounds. They do that stupid rage thing where they just run at you and tackle over and over and over again, which is annoying to fight on mouse and keyboard. And I feel like that would be way worse to fight with a controller where you can't just rip a 180 like I can. There was the power-up system, which we pretty much never used anything except for the regenerator. I think I used a landmine as a grenade once where I threw it at someone and then shot it out of the air.
Yeah, you can go the entire game without using the bonuses.
Yeah, drones still suck. Drones also suck. Now that I think about it, there's not a whole lot of enemies I would praise in any of the Halo games. Like I said, the elites are interesting. The elites are at least interesting. There's various casts, there's various weapons, there's various armors designs. But brutes, drones, and you just disappeared.
Sorry. I hadn't touched my thing in a while and I lost connection. I'll be right back.
Whatever. Just got back in here. Like there's a variety of roles that the elites and grunts fill out, and they have different voices and everything, and various actions. And the jackals are shield bearers, so they make sense. But the brutes, drones, sentinels at least look cool and are kind of really cool and robot-y. But most of the Promethean stuff isn't exactly in those games, so it's whatever.
Yeah.
The big end fight where you activate a Halo to kill the Gravemind was super cool. I honestly, the arc and everything about it was actually a super cool plot point. The attack on the towers, so that way you could, like, where you have the green phantoms flying in alongside the Marines. That scene was legendary.
Yeah.
That wasn't 3, right?
Yeah, that's 3, because you're on.
You just teleport behind me, nothing personnel, kid. But
Oh,
yeah,
my
like a variety. The Halo games were all like 3 story was super great. ODST was amazing, and it's not just because it had Nathan Fillion. I just think the gameplay and the way that the story of 3 is specifically portrayed, and the down-to-earth level of getting boots on the ground with the other members of the Marines and the ODST was such an interesting storytelling method. Such an like the fact that the engineers actually hate the Covenant, don't want to work with them, and are like biological supercomputers, and the messages within the logs, though we didn't actually display those. The story of the corrupt police officer and that poor corrupt chief cop getting shotgunned twice from point blank range.
I just love that. Both of us have a shotgun to his head. Well, I guess we're gonna have to kill you now. As soon as the reticle turns red, we both fire.
One of us with a mauler, the other one with a shotgun, I think.
I'm pretty sure we both had shotgun just pointed straight at his head.
Maybe. I thought one of us had a mauler. Anyways, not that it matters. Still a shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah. The story, how it's portrayed. I love the fact that you don't have the shielding system, but instead you basically have a short-term adrenaline boost, which is basically a ludonarrative dissonant way of saying that when an ODST is shot at, they can process the fact that they were shot at and pull their body out of the way of the bullet to not get hurt, but in exchange they become wildly exhausted. It's such a cool way of replacing the shielding system, and also for explaining the fact that they don't die when they, get shot at.
Yeah. It's like how the red things around Nate in Uncharted. It's his luck running out.
It's his luck running out, so he doesn't actually get shot. He's just getting lucky and dodging bullets until he gets unlucky and one actually hits him. That's brilliant.
Technically speaking, you're all in Uncharted. You're always one bullet away from death. You just get super lucky and get missed all the time until you're not.
Until you don't get lucky. But yeah, no, it's a thing of like, everybody's always points out, like, what were you supposed to do when you see a guy take a shotgun from point blank range? And I go, the shotgun doesn't break your stamina, which means that guy fired the shotgun at the rookie from behind the rookie. The rookie noticed, pulled himself out of the way, span around, and killed the cop. I mean, he is an ODST. Yeah. You're not beating that like that, right?
I mean, they are the special forces of the regular branch.
Right? Reach is the best.
Oh, yeah. Still love running my ODST gear.
I am going to mock the distribution of the armor abilities. But other than that, holy crap, Reach is amazing. The story, who your character is, the rest of Noble Team is phenomenal. You do fight, weirdly, a lot of brutes in Reach.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, if we're talking about music, all of the Halo games have amazing music. The only reason I play Halo 4 is because the soundtrack is probably still a banger.
Yeah, I think Marty was still involved. I think 5 and 6. I don't think Marty's involved.
I mean, like, if we're talking, like, appearance-wise, almost all of the games are absolutely beautiful.
Except for
Anniversary and regular. Like, even the older versions still looked great. There was a couple of visual bugs in the anniversary versions, but we're going to blame the fact that those were, the anniversary versions, which means they actually had some downgrades compared to the regular versions. And I'm not going to state like, oh, I think retro graphics are amazing, but it was the original aesthetics of the Halo series match Halo perfectly. I mean, any game that you can demake and still looks amazing so long as you follow the original design scheme is a well-made, aesthetically pleasing game. The fact that you can demake everything except for basically horror games pretty much proves the point that graphics are not the thing we care about in games, but it doesn't change the fact that we do appreciate the art style and appearance of the games. And a lot of the guns, especially the way that Covenant weapons are designed to not make sense to a human brain. If I had one thing to complain about when it comes to weapon design, it's the fact that the shotgun barrel is on the bottom. Man, that one argument we got over that. Anyways.
They mainly did it so it looked cool for the reload animation, I'm pretty sure.
Doesn't really matter. Maybe they didn't know how to animate Chief loading the gun from the bottom, so they just put it on top to make it easier for themselves.
Probably.
Who cares?
They also probably wanted to make it look sci-fi. Ooh, what would look?
I love the way that almost everything that's UNSC or human is harsh, blocky shapes that really shows the fact that it is military equipment, where they really did just mil-spec the crap out of everything. Like, nothing's over-engineered. It's all as simple as possible. But the Covenant, it's all smooth and sleek and futuristic. If not a little ridiculous, like the fact that there wasn't a Covenant shotgun until ODST, and the Covenant shotgun is just a human shotgun but with a revolver chamber. It's kind of lame.
Three.
Huh?
Pretty sure the Mauler shows up in 3.
Oh yeah,
that's probably because the Brutes took over weapon development, and Brutes like.
Well, that's my point. Is like the entire thing of the Covenant in the first game is that they had plasma weapons, which were slow firing but effective against shields. But in 2, when they got rid of the health bar system, the Covenant weapons just became like really stupid. Like, almost everything was a slow-firing weapon with, like, da-da-da-da. And then you get the carbine and the beam rifle. And it's just like, what's the point of Covenant weapons that aren't those two? The carbine's just a DMR. And the beam rifle's just the sniper rifle, except it fires more often, but overheats, so it can only shoot twice until it cools down. What? All in all, I loved playing Halo. If I had to complain about something in each game, let's get a complaint in each game. CE, the constant teleporting from other players that made no sense sometimes. I understand load zones are important. Holy crap, for the Master Chief Collection variation of the game, you could have widened the tolerances for forcing a teleport.
Yeah. We're not running on Xbox hardware anymore.
Like that one time when we were in the maw and we were in I popped open the last hatch so we could throw a grenade in, but since Mellon ran out of grenades, he left without saying anything and accidentally teleported me out of the engine bay.
Yeah. Not my proudest moment.
As if the armory was far enough away to actually need a teleportation zone. In fact, I can't think of a single level in CE that modernly we couldn't just play the entire fucking level without any loading zones on modern hardware.
I think that's mainly just how the levels were designed.
Who cares? It's a remake. Decompile it and just make single massive levels without anything and just use modern rendering style. It's a freaking new engine. But in terms of things I could complain about in CE, it would definitely be, wow, the teleportation system is way too rigid and way too old school for modern development. What can I compliment about CE? What did I love the most? Oh, definitely the Magnum. That gun was stupid. I loved it.
Yeah.
The environments and variety of the environments were so beautiful as well. Like, as much as I dunk on and hate the library is a really cool looking level. The Anniversary Edition adding things that you can't stand on and I actually fell through twice was hilarious.
Yeah, I showed a friend that.
There's nothing really remarkable or unremarkable about CE. Majority of its flaws are just because it's an older style of game. And it's full of beautiful environments and everything, all things considered. For two's thing I would complain about is probably the story for Chief. It really was unremarkable. Like, sure, the level designs are still brilliant, but Chief's entire story is basically hunt the prophet, hunt the prophet, hunt the prophet, hunt the prophet. Oh no, the flood. Hunt the prophet. Hunt the other prophets now. I actually don't remember what happens after you meet the grave mine. I'm pretty sure you're deposited with the other prophets. In Amber Clad shows up, or was that in 3?
After you meet the grave mine, you get teleported into High Charity as Chief, and then Arbiter meets with the elites that are fighting the brutes, and then you have that fight out.
I honestly don't remember. Yeah, no, the last line in 2 is Sir finishing this fight, isn't it?
Yeah. Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Right. Now, I'm vaguely starting to remember the story. You start by receiving a medal, except that goes to shit.
Yeah, because the Covenant have accidentally discovered the home system.
They accidentally discovered the home system, and then Regret charges in with no plan because he didn't realize that the humans would be there.
Yep.
But yeah, no, 2's story for the Chief side, I don't remember basically anything, and even when I do, if I had to, I'm not sure if there's like a lot to complain about in 2. Like I said, my main complaint is I just dislike Chief's story. Like the level designs and everything, they weren't fantastic, they weren't subpar. There was the one time I ended up stranded without a ghost, but that was my own fault.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to compliment anything about 2, oh no, I got a real good complaint about 2. The quality of the voice actors. Miranda Keyes was not a great voice actor. No one on Amberclad was a great voice actor.
The Marines were good, though. I like the Marines.
If I wanted to compliment something, it would definitely be Arbiter's storyline. I loved everything about Arbiter's storyline. The moving around, the fighting. I didn't necessarily like Arbiter's levels, but I did love his story. The way it was portrayed. He also had some of the most fun level segments as well, with very unique objectives like cutting down the flying station, fighting one of the most interesting bosses, the guy who had two clones of himself. Do I remember enough about 3 to complain about something in that game? We only completed the game like 5 weeks ago. I literally don't remember anything. I know something I would complain about 3. 3's ending. I wish they just actually killed Chief. I feel like 3 was the perfect place to end the story, and I really dislike the way they ended it. Because with Chief making the ultimate sacrifice, causing the Halo to go haywire, to sacrifice to kill the Flood, and Covenants and humans coming together, was the perfect ending.
And then 343 Rue.
And then Halo 4 came out, and the game was just trash. And then 5 is based entirely off of a series of lying advertisements. And I don't know enough about Infinite to comment on it. There's something I could compliment in 3, because if I'm going to insult every single game, I should also, not insult, complain. Then I should also find something to compliment about every single game.
Yeah.
Well, the 3 did add the power system, and while they didn't exploit it correctly, it did lead to Reach, so that's something to compliment about that game. And it was the first game that gave you a second player who was actually there in the story, instead of just duplicating the Chief or duplicating the Arbiter. When you have a second player, he becomes the Arbiter. That was such a cool feature as well. The fact that you get different loadouts on every single level start, so smart.
Yeah.
I do like the way they handled the co-op for the campaign in 3.
Yeah.
This review has gone on for 38 minutes. I'm going to try my best to cut it down, but I'm honestly not sure if there is anything to cut down on. ODST, I'm not sure if I have anything to complain about in ODST. I guess if one thing, the teleportation system, again. Specifically, the fact that it was worse than CE in so much that it could reset your inventory.
Yeah.
That happened a couple of times. And the fact that multiplayer doesn't save logs. Those are the 2 things I would complain about.
Yeah. And I can't remember, I think the saving logs is only because it's the Master Chief Collection. I'm pretty sure in like Xbox 360 Halo, you'd be fine.
That's a new bug? Ugh.
I can't remember. I think I read that somewhere. I could be completely wrong.
Anyways, moving on. Is there anything else to, I mean, we complimented the heck out of 3. From story to graphics to how ODST made you feel boots on the ground. The amazing way it's story told, and everything about Virgil and how they help you find the hints and everything.
Yeah. My favorite achievement, just like a Spartan, where you punch a wraith to death.
Yeah, that did not make as much. I mean, that made sense for Spartans, but that makes no sense for an ODST to be able to pull that off.
I think that's why they left it in and made it an achievement. Just like a Spartan.
I loved ODST. ODST was amazing. I guess the next thing then is Reach. What would I complain about in Reach? I mean, I complained about the distribution of the armor abilities. And the fact that so many of them are underutilized or just flat out worthless. It's like, hologram is not that great. Optical camouflage, active camo is not that great. Sprint shouldn't be an armor ability to begin with, but is way too necessary to get around some of the environments. The jetpacking only happens a very specific segment, and armor lock is armor lock. Right? Like, armor lock is great, but there's almost nowhere to actually use it during the levels.
Yeah.
Because the AI don't really respond to armor lock the same way people do.
Yeah. It's almost always better to take sprint.
And then there's bubble shield, which is just useless in every single situation. Well, it's called drop shield, my bad.
Yeah.
In terms of things I loved about Reach, it's definitely your companions. I think that's what makes ODST and Reach so amazing, is actually the other people around you. Because in terms of, like, people you have around you in, like, every other Halo game about the Chief, you're not really part of a team. You're just the Chief. And that actually kind of detracts from the story. It's like, sure, I did my best to protect the Marines around me, but the lack of another Spartan, or even if Sergeant Johnson just showed up more often by your side, it would have added so much to the story. Because one thing that will always improve a story is a well-written side character who's always beside you. And Cortana doesn't count. She has no bearing on the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved Reach. And I love the end level, Objective Survive, which you literally cannot do.
Yeah.
I love the way Reach was handled. It does help that they had a book to go off of. So yeah. Halo CE, I say, is solid game, great for its time. The remaster could use a few updates for modern systems. 2 is lackluster in the Chief Department, amazing in the Arbiter Department, could use some updates for modern systems. And that's pretty much gonna be a consistent play for all of them. 3 is lackluster in general. It got some really cool moments. The detonating of the Ark, and the teaming of the Covenant and the UNSC. The ending sucked. ODST was just really awesome in general. Could use some upgrades for modern systems. And Reach is just... It was Reach. It's one of the best games in the series. And doesn't need that many updates for modern systems. Probably because it's one of the more modern games, to be fair.
I think 2011?
I mean, that's still old, but at the same time, it's not like technology has really improved that much. It's improved drastically, but at the same time, nowhere near, not as far as you'd think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was... I guess that's going to be our review on the Halo series. It's definitely worth getting MCC and playing all those games, if I had to say.
Oh, yeah.
Whether or not I think it's worth it. The Master Chief Collection was worth it. We did not play 4, but just reach through ODST was amazing.
Yeah. I got Master Chief Collection when it was released a couple days early, and I was never disappointed.
I also got I got it back when only Reach was available. The peer-to-peer back then was horrible, so I'm very glad they upgraded it.
I couldn't.
Yeah, that's our review on the Halo series.
Hey, this is the HalfSaneFox, and thanks for watching. I'm going to end this video here, and if you like this content, I highly recommend that you check the VOD or just wait for the next episode to release. And maybe click on one of the end screen cards once those finally show up.